Like, I want to start small. And I know people are like, well, I have big hopes and dreams, and um, sometimes those dreams are a bit bigger than you think, you know? And it's like, I like to start small, you know? Like, I want to work my way up. In everything I do, honestly. I don't want to jump into something. I think that's something really important that more people should learn. Um, Assessing situations and being able to figure out, like, what you can and can't do on the long term. Which is why I did make my decision to be more of a streamer than a part-time worker. That was a lot of thinking. A few months of struggle and me going, is this working out? And the answer is no. It was not working out. Like, even if I get a job, I will have to tell my workplace that I can't do more than 15 hours a week. Will that make or break a deal? Maybe. But it's me being honest, truthful, and being able to consistently be consistent with my pay, my hours, being able to pay rent on time, those type of things. Yeah, it was a lot of thinking that I had to do, all for like the last 3 months, and subsequently all last week as well. When I was crunching numbers, like, when I was crunching numbers, the numbers are low. I'm just starting out, so it's like, think of it as, you know, when you first start a job. When you first start a job, your first paycheck isn't supposed to be, like, grandiose and massive and, like, the big bucks. Unless you're starting out, like, super strong and you got 1,000,000 hours on your first week and you're good. You know? Like, that's not what I mean. Like, I mean, when you first start a job, right? When you first start a job, your first paycheck isn't going to be that high. When you're a freelancer, you know those paychecks aren't going to be that high until you, like, continue to do your job. You continue to do what you love or whatever. You continue to regularly do what you do. So that first paycheck energy is going to be around for a while. People don't tell you this. I personally, I knew about this right from the get-go. I was ready. I was fully prepared. I understood what I was doing. And I had many reasons to doing that. One of which is because if I actually have a full-time job, I will not be able to pay my rent. Ever. So, I found a way to be a bit more gentle with myself. Especially when working in a place that's rough. Yeah, the longest roads reward the hardest hiker. Well, indeed. True. Yeah, so I've been tarot reading for 8 years. I've streamed tarot several times throughout my career. However, I never really fully dove into doing it full time like I am now. I only did this just recently. Also, hello, Jonathan. How are you today? Um, I I officially wanted to do um I wanted to do this sooner. Um, as much as I'm a indeed, welcome to the library. um, I basically was doing this on the side. I was basically making this a job on the side. And until uh, November of last year, I want to say, the IRS didn't exactly notice that I was doing this as a full-time job. Um, so, so now that it is a full-time job, thankfully, I have to treat it like one. I have to treat it in every step of the way as if it is a full-time job. It is. It very much is. But I only just started to get full-time streaming tarot as of June, like right after my birthday. A lot of hard decisions were made too, because I really tried really hard to keep a normal job, like quote unquote normal job. Let me just put that out there real quick before people are like, what is normal? Quote unquote normal job. The old 9 to 5s, waking up at like 7 o'clock and coming back at 4 type thing. Like, I can't stand for more than 3 hours. Most jobs that are entry level would never allow that, okay? I can't work around heat. I have syncope and heat strokes. I can't do any of the back of house jobs anymore. That's a lot of entry level jobs right there. However, I am an actor. I am an actor. I put on a costume and I do acting things on stage. And entertain masses for a living. Yeah, streaming seems very much like a job in terms of commitment. Very much so. I remember way back when, where like streaming was like frowned upon because it's like, ew, gamers are like the scum of the earth because all they do is freaking stream games and you know, gamers, you know, shun them, you know. But now it's like, that's a real deal, like, accept it. So me and my ripe old man age of 29, I'm suddenly figuring out that, like, look, I need to have limits. I can't work at Taco Bell for 4 years like I used to. I can't do that anymore. You know? Yeah, I'm an old man. Let me just admit myself here real quick. Let me just out myself. But like, yeah, I can't do long hours of cashiering. I can't do standing up for, 5-6 hours. I think like the average hours now are like 7 hours, I think, question mark? 5 to 7? Like, I can barely do that. I can barely be half of that. And it's like, okay, how about an office job? Alright, office jobs require a lot of repetition, right? Now, being an autistic old man like me, you'd think that repetition would be amazing. No. I used to work at a call center. And believe you me, that was a terrible job to be in, especially if you're always in a rush. You're always fighting against your coworkers. Like, nobody tells you this. It's just like, oh yeah, it's a sales position. Of course you're fighting against your coworkers. But that's the point. Like, why are you fighting against your coworkers to get a raise, like a 3 cent raise? Like, excuse the hell out of me. And I couldn't do that environment because that environment basically pushed me to do things that I couldn't be able to do right away. I would have a script and everything, but there would be questions that are very much off script that, well, for the life of me, if I went to ask a manager about it, they'd say, look at the script, and there is no answer on that script. You know? And more jobs like that are beginning to be, like, terrible and terrifying. Office jobs are, like, now sought after by people that have high college degrees. I can't do office jobs anymore, okay? So, I can't do those. I've been tasking myself with trying to find a normal ass job at like someplace fun, you know? If I get a normal job, I want someplace where it's like, a candy store, ice cream store, somewhere where it just feels like I'm not really working, but having a good time.